live right here on the street hype, man. We just had like a terrible storm rip through. And we like over here on 4th Avenue right now. We're catching out the damage right now, street hype. Shit was really hard. Shit, it's crazy out here, man. People's stuff just falling on everywhere. We're estimating the damages in the HUD right now. We're just riding through, checking out, seeing what's good to do. You know what I mean?
They hit that power line too.
Yeah, they got a little block right here, son. We gotta cut through this, fam. Look like we're going through the woods on this joint, fam. Officially happened. Look at that piece of artwork right there. Look at that piece of art. That's serious, fam. Right on the line. Well, we know they had electricity over this way, fam. Yeah, everybody telling they got property damage right there, fam. Yeah, the straight snaps down the snapped it in half, fam. See, look at this, another big baby.
They got the work cut out for them today, man.
Yeah, if you're looking for a job, fam, we kind of lunchbag, fam. All this week, they're gonna have work for you, son. We live right here on the Hill City channel, Street Hype Entertainment TV. What we get ready to do right now, we got a show coming out. It's gonna be dealing with what do we do if disaster strikes. It's for a community disaster preparedness awareness program. We'll be right back. Alright, fam, we over here at Crocs 10 and still catching out the artwork God had left us to look at. You know what I mean? Right here on the Street Hype. Yeah, snap that joker in half. I gotta go across these lines. I gotta rush across them real quick. Let's hope I don't get electrocuted. What do you think, man?
We good with the rubber on the tires.
Yeah?
Yeah, I only got that rubber on there.
Just in case, I'm going across them swiftly. Look at that piece of artwork God left right there. That piece of artwork came from the root right there.
Really?
Oh, it is? Yeah. Yeah, big old roots on ripped up
right here at the College Hill Community Center, right here on 811 Jackson Street, right here in Lynchburg, Virginia. And today we got a show today. We're gonna got a guest speaker coming in, Donigan. Who'll come up, he's gonna talk to us, give us some awareness about how we prepared for disaster if it strikes, whether it be a snowstorm, floods, earthquakes, and what have you, okay? Now, my name is Mr. B. For those who may not know me, we call Mr. B. Copeland. I got Stroke Entertainment Services, I'm part of Cultural Awareness Ministries. I got ministries where I also go around and try to have different programs in our community to give us some awareness about what's really happening in our communities and abroad, really. Also, I'm a College Hill community organizer, okay? Like I started thinking, of course, the College Hill Community Center and the Park Avenue's Rec letting us have this program today. College Hill Neighborhood Council for sponsoring us today, and our guest speaker, Mr. Donigan, will be up in a few minutes. Like I said, we're here to talk about a very important topic. You know, what do we do if disaster strike? I feel that our low-income communities are privately prepared and aware of the different things that may be coming within the future years, months, or we don't even know right now, to be honest. But the lack of participation and understanding and stuff like that may cause chaos. I'll get into that in a minute. It's going to take a few minutes to talk. We're dealing with the weather conditions of the earth, okay? And the elements of, like we speak of, the 4 elements in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3 through 27, okay? And these things ain't the first time that the earth had to cleanse and detox itself, so to speak. And you know what I'm saying? There's millions of years of existence, okay? We're dealing with the elements. Like I said, the 4 elements of the earth, like fire, which equals the heat. You know, like in Texas, we had, 100-degree weather for about 2 or 3 months. Ended up having fires and everything, a lot of drought and everything went on about that. We also had air, which is an element, okay? Which is, tornadoes, hurricanes. We don't have them in Virginia this year, right? Okay? Water. We had floods this year, okay? We had a lot of cities getting wiped out, flooded, and everything else. We have water that also goes in ice form, in snow form, Okay, so that's coming out. We got earth, which is the final element of the 4 elements. Okay, if you read it, like I said, we got earthquakes, which recently hit Virginia as well, which is kind of a shock to a lot of people. Wow, you know, earthquakes coming. But if you're aware, then you know you'll probably be familiar. Now, this is, like I said, these are my opinions and stuff before a guest speaker come up. We have a lot of catastrophes getting ready to happen, right? Catastrophes. And from my studies in this topic, I learned that a lot of it is coming from what they call the Aquarius age. But they're saying every 2,100,000 years, the earth goes through a cleansing process. And they have a new age, a new way of thinking and living. Okay? And we're living now at going out of the age of what's called the Pisces. Okay? Dealing with the 2 fishes representing bad and good. Like so you got to do your own research, anything that you do. Okay? This is a little book. This is show you about, it's called Claustrophobias. Okay, by Barbara Clark. Barbara Clark, you know. Tells you the truth behind earth changes. You know, things that, where the earth went through different changes over the millions of years of existences. Okay, this is one of the many books that you can get if you like to, if you ever think about it. There's also another one called The Secrets of the Sphinx. Okay? Now, my research we did with the original calendar, okay, which is called the sun calendar. We're actually in the year 6,251, not in the year 2011. Of course, like I said, do your own research. Okay, this is the original calendar. This is like before the Mayan calendar. Okay, some of the same information. I'm getting to that just briefly. I'm just touching bases right now. Okay, like I said, you got to ask yourself, you know, how did time stop 2,000 years ago and begin? When they first recorded their times was 6,251 years ago along the Nile Valley. Now, 2,000 years ago was the end of the Aries, or the Ram Age, okay, which dealt with a lot of war, okay, and then the last of these warriors and things, so they say, you know, it failed, Babylon, you know, Rome fell and all that, right? Okay. The last of this was the Caesars, of course, and they was out to Hellenize the earth, okay? I'll let y'all do your own research on that, of course, once again. They transformed the Roman Empire, never fell, they just transformed it to something else. We also hearing about the Mayan calendar. Have y'all been hearing about that a lot lately? I know a lot of people hearing about that. And how many of y'all seen the movie or have the movie 2012? Y'all seen it? Haven't seen it? Okay. You ain't seen that yet?
No.
Oh man, a lot of people on this and they believe in it. Okay, there's some good science in the movie. And the science fiction part of it don't get too caught up. You understand what I'm saying? But it is some good stuff in there, okay? You never seen it, but a lot of people, you know, oh, this is ready to happen, okay? Now, in my opinion, like I said, a lot of disasters are getting ready to happen, a lot of catastrophes, and, you know, like you speak in a good book in Revelations, you know? So, you know, we got to make sure that we acknowledge and acknowledge and knows what's about ready to happen before we prepare ourselves for these weather conditions. So we must attune, cleanse our minds, body, and soul. You know, think godly. In other words, what I mean by this, you got to think positive, having faith, willpower, and action to prepare our families and communities if disaster strikes. You know what I'm saying? We can't be just in chaos and fear. We got to figure things out when things really do happen, how we can survive these babies right here. Now, right here I'm doing some research, and here's a future map that was put out by the U.S. Navy in 1972. So, scientists and scientific knowledge is suspecting some earth changes. As you can see, East Coast, we might be pretty good in Virginia. We like deep into that junk, so we might be all right. Of course, this right here, y'all seen a lot of rainfall and stuff going on through these areas. Okay, and snow and stuff like that going on. Things right up in here. But anyway, one of these changes dealing with the Madrid fault that deal with the earthquake that we had a few months ago. And as you know, been watching, a lot of these areas right here have had intense rainfall within the last year. Okay? And in my opinion, okay, living in the mountains, in the mud, rock, and earth contents getting plunged with water eventually slips and slides. Okay? Especially when dealing with a fault line like that. In my opinion, like this is something that happened about 2 years ago between North Carolina and Tennessee borders. Okay? Now, lastly, I'm just going to take a few more seconds of your minutes of your time. What do we do collectively as a community? okay, to survive any type of disaster. We sat there with our hands, you know, crying and carrying on, do we, you know, put things to action? Okay, another thing, no communication. So what y'all gonna do? What we gonna do? You feel what I'm saying? No depending on cell phones and computers no more, it's shut down. It's useless. So what we gonna do? Okay, possibly no food, or because no preparedness. We didn't set up things before time. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have our communities ready. A lot of communities are already preparing themselves. Believe that. Okay? So we got no sufficient drinking water. Now, I got some DVDs. Y'all want to check it out. It's called Water Everywhere, but not a drip to drink. Okay, some very informative information. If y'all want, this is by Dr. Mona Harris. She's a water scientist, like, okay? She's very good information about, you know, things drying up and we have insufficient water to drink. No transportation possible. You know, flood, snowstorm, block you in. Okay, possibly no heat or electric. We was also informed right here at the College Hill community that the business areas would have to be serviced faster than the non-business area because, you know, you got to get your city back up and operating, okay, first. And so, you know, so we as a community, people, we must prepare ourselves for the earth elements and disasters, okay? Like I said, we here today just to give some basic awareness on what to do with disaster strikes and how we work collectively together when this happens during a crisis. In my opinion, lack of knowledge and understanding could cause panic, fear, which will cause disorganization and chaos. Okay. We have in our presence today Mr. Paul Donigan, who was a member of the Historical Virginia Red Cross. Been a nurse for 33 years. You know, helping out many folks, and have been a health, safety, and disaster service and community preparedness educator with the Red Cross since 2005. So about 6 or 7 years now. Okay, so he come today in our community to share some knowledge and some information on our topic today, community disaster preparedness. Okay, so if y'all don't mind giving a warm welcome applause to my man, Paul Donigan. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Copeland's already given you a lot of good disaster information, so I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to add to the presentation today. But I am a member of the local Red Cross chapter here in Lynchburg. We like to go around to the different communities that we serve. We service the counties of Amherst, Bedford, Appomattox, City of Bedford, City of Lynchburg, and Campbell County. So we have a large geographic region that we're responsible for. The local Red Cross chapter here, the primary disasters that we see mostly relate to fire and floods in this particular geographic region. But as we have seen recently, anything can happen. It's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. So we try to put out as much information as we can to help folks get ready for any kind of things that are going to happen. One other primary emphasis that we are putting on disaster preparedness now is preparedness for biochemical warfare. We do have several nuclear-oriented facilities here in this area that a lot of people don't think about. And they are prime targets here on the East Coast. And we need to concern ourselves with potential biochemical warfare as well. So what I'd like to talk to you for just a couple minutes about getting yourselves ready. Is, families need to be ready individually before we can get ready as a community, okay? 3 things that we like to stress to the folks that we talk to is 1, get a kit so that you can have some stuff in your house ready to go if something should happen. Make a plan and be informed. We're being informed today with all this information. I've got a table full of things over here that you can take with you and share with the community at large, or particularly your family, okay? Let me ask you a couple of questions. When you think of disaster, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Earthquakes?
I think of something that's getting destroyed.
Okay, all right. Well, a disaster can be anything from a minor house fire to a major hurricane, say like Katrina that we experienced in 2005. When you say Hurricane Katrina, everybody knows what you're talking about. So you're not going to be able to be 100% prepared for everything. But you don't want to do the shoulda, woulda, couldas. So it's a matter of going ahead and getting things in place to get yourself ready. One thing that people often don't think about when it comes to being prepared for disasters is getting documents together. Things like your insurance, your house insurance information, health insurance information, copies of your house deed. One other thing people don't often think about with communication being down, having a portable radio. We have these portable radios that the Red Cross has. You can get them online in several different places. It's a crank type radio that you just crank it up, and the satellites produce the information for you from the radio. So if your electricity's down, one of these is a good thing to have. Keeping a little bit of cash on the side. The ATMs are probably going to be down in case of disaster, so you might need some cash that you can stash away to have prepared also. Emergency contacts. When disaster strikes, people often get separated, and people aren't able to get in touch with one another, so you want to have some kind of emergency system or contact list in place for your family members, where everybody will know what to do and where to go and who to call, particularly have an out-of-town contact person. We have some cards over here that you can use to keep in your wallet, and have everybody in your family have one of a person that you want to contact in case of an emergency. Now, food and water, again, as he mentioned a little bit earlier, are always very important. You want to have some kind of non-perishable food set aside. Some of your favorite snacks. Anything that doesn't require cooking. You need to have some of those kinds of things set aside in like a big crate that you can move from place to place. Water, he was mentioning water. Do you know that you should have at least 1 gallon of water for each person per day for any period of time that you're going to be down? You should be prepared at least for 72 hours to be able to shelter in place when any kind of disaster comes along. But then too, you got to remember, you need water for brushing your teeth, water for flushing the toilet. So those, you need to include that in your supplies as well. What I'd like to do is show you a couple of images via video to help explain all this information a little bit more to you, okay? So let's take some time and watch this video.
Got wires coming up, got somebody's roof right there that got ripped up. That roof ain't the best one across the street. I mean, they're in the corner. Look at that one. Some serious damage right there, fella. You got right here, family, straight ripped up. Stuff is real, that's real. See, somebody poor baby. That's a crybaby right there. That's a tearjerker. Look at that tearjerker right there, man. That's definitely a tearjerker. Getting ready to go to work this morning. You can hang it up, fam.
I'm going to make that trip.
Going back in, fam, with tears in your eyes. That's a tearjerker right there, man.
Hey, look at how that joint cracked.
Oh, it's straight cracking.
Man, is that wind or couldn't no wind knock that joint down?
I don't know where it ripped it from the roots like that.
That's
yo.
from the root.
Emergency preparedness kit list. Let's look at this thing for a couple seconds and just sort of run down the list and see if anything is surprising to you that's on the list. And these things you want to rotate them out periodically, so you don't want to keep a can of pot meat in a crate for a year's time. But every 6 months you want to go revisit your supply kit and rotate your supplies out, put some fresh stuff in. Anything that's not going to need a can opener. A lot of supplies now, or a lot of foods, are packaged with pop top lids. So those kinds of things, ravioli, SpaghettiOs, those kinds of things. They're not often good cold, but they're nourishing. They have a lot of protein and can sustain you for a period of time. What else can you think of that might be good in a food kit?
Rice and beans.
There you go. There you go.
They never fail.
There you go. Anything that you like to eat, okay? Trail mix. protein bars. Those kinds of things are good to include in a food kit. All right, they suggest you have a flashlight, a battery-powered hand-crank radio like I showed you, extra batteries, a first aid kit. Now, you don't have to get real fancy or excessive with the first aid kit. There's basic things like Band-Aids, a little alcohol, maybe some cotton balls, some gauze to wrap a wound, and some coverings if you need that. Hopefully those kinds of things will never be necessary. Medications. People don't think about having medications in a portable kit. They suggest a 7-day supply for your medications. Anybody that takes medicines on a regular basis usually gets like a 30-day supply. So if you keep up your 30-day supply, you should be good there. A multi-purpose tool. Now, I am not at all mechanical. I have no clue what would be a good multi-purpose tool. Can somebody help me with that?
One of them utility knives.
Okay.
A bunch of things on it.
Okay. Like one of those Swiss Army knives. It's got
So
screwdrivers.
yeah, that's it.
All that kind of stuff on it, okay? Sanitation and personal hygiene items, copies of personal documents, we talk about that. Medication lists, proof of address, deeds, a cell phone with a charger. Now, the charger's not going to do you any good if electricity's out. Your emergency contact card, like we talked about, emergency cash, emergency blanket, and maps of the area. Now, the maps of the area, the reason they suggest that is if all of the signage and road areas are disturbed and nobody knows how to get in there, if you need to get out, you might have something to help guide you along the way. If you need to leave your particular location, then you'll have a reference to go by. So a map of the area is always good to have. And you need to think about children that you have in your homes as well. So you'll need some things to entertain the kids with during this process. Baby supplies, bottles, formula, food and diapers, pet supplies. Everybody's got all kinds of dogs and cats, so you need to seriously consider your pets. Now, when the Red Cross sets up shelters, a pet shelter is set up as well. So if you need to evacuate for any period of time, there will be provisions for your pets. A manual can opener is probably going to be the most important thing that you put in there next to the water. If you forget a can opener, how in the world can you get in some of the things that you may need to pay for your food supply? So manual can opener. On this back page, some other things that you might not think about. Maybe a whistle in case you need to alert the authorities or anybody that you need some help. If you are in a situation where the structure is destroyed and you're trapped inside, a whistle in your emergency kit would be a way of communication. Surgical masks to help with any respiratory problems that might come up because of dust and airborne processes. Matches, rain gear, towels, work gloves, tools and supplies for securing your home. There is one possibility that we try to bring to folks' attention is a process called sheltering in place. In the case of any kind of nuclear accident or chemical occurrence, the authorities may send out an alert for you to shelter in place. That means you stay where you are. You don't try to get home. If you're at the office, you stay where you are and secure yourself in that facility for as long as you are told to. Now, if you're at home and you're told to shelter in place, you might need to cover all of your windows and doors with some kind of plastic sheeting and make sure that you seal everything all the way around. One thing people might forget is outlets. You need to cover those outlets also as air comes in through those outlets. So anywhere that the air can come into your home, you'll want to cover that securely. So plastic sheeting and some duct tape is always good to have in your house in case of emergency. Scissors are always good for almost anything. household liquid bleach for sanitation, and entertainment items, blankets, or sleeping bags. So you want to try to cover all of your bases if you need to be in place for any length of time. We have some pretty nasty winter storms here sometimes. I remember a couple of years ago, well, I guess it was probably 2007, we were in our house out here in Madison Heights for 3 days. Wasn't able to get out because of snow and ice. So with the kit that we had in place, we were able to sustain ourselves for those 3 days before someone was able to dig us out of there. Okay, so you know, I was blessed that I was prepared. So you want to try to get yourselves ready. Seriously, consider the information that we're giving you today.
New book with DVD by Mr. B, The Basic 4 Elements of Hip-Hop Culture Arts. Are all hip-hop artists gangsters? Learn the basics about the culture, art, history, pioneers of hip-hop, in the new book that comes with a DVD by Mr. B, The Basic 4 Elements of Hip-Hop Culture Arts. Buy it now at Mr. B, Basic 4 Elements, blogspot.com. That's Mr. B, Basic 4 Elements, blogspot.com. Get your copy today.
Until I actually witnessed several disasters and being involved with the people that are affected by disasters. It's not a lot of fun at all. You see people at their worst. Talking to a family that's been burned out of their house, that's lost everything that they had. There's not a lot you can do a lot of time to prepare for a fire, but that's not a good situation at all to be in. As a community, there are some things that you could probably do to be prepared for any families that might be affected by fire, such as clothes closets, food banks. I'm not sure what kind of things you all have set up here in this community, but those are just some ideas that other communities have put into place and that are very effective. As you never know when you, number one, may be a victim and need some help, or when your neighbor is going to need some help. So getting together as a community, such as this, is you all have a community center here that is localized right here with you, that could be used for those purposes. I'm not sure what kind of storage facilities are available, but just planning the idea is a good place to start. I understand that your community organization is very proactive. That's why we're having this class today. So shoot that idea out at them. Again, it's available on our website, redcross.org, in addition to the things that you'll find here in the room with you today. After seeing that video and the things we've talked about, is anything in particular, any questions in particular come up in your mind? I hope when you leave here this afternoon, something has triggered in your mind. I need to try to get ready. It's not like you need to go out and spend a lot of money at one time to get everything for a kit. Just pick up things every now and again when you're out doing your routine shopping. Just pick up something extra to put in a kit. Okay? So please, get a kit, make a plan, and be informed. Thank you for having me this evening.
We hope everybody enjoys this presentation
Actually,
today.
I'll let you hold on to these.
Mr. Paul Donigan came in and gave us some good knowledge
Okay.
on what to do, what we need. It's the basics, you heard? All right. Live until next time. Live right here on Street Height, right here on the Hill City channel. Peace out.